Hello guys, welcome back to the show. I hope you are safe and well. Today we are going to take a look at not just one watch, not even two watches, but three watches from Pagani Design. Now, all of these watches are Rolex Homages, and I will put the links to all of these watches in the description below. For the review, we'll be comparing the three most popular models, the Subby, the GMT, and the Daytona. So without further ado, let's get on with the comparison. So, three Pagani Designs, a popular watch brand with various homages and original designs. These watches are available on AliExpress, and I've included a link below to all of these models if any are of interest to you. Now, all of the watches we're looking at today are the most popular models, and surprise, surprise, they are all Rolex Homages. So from left to right, we have the Subby Homage, the GMT, and finally the Daytona. But which one is better and which one do I prefer? So first we have the Subby Homage. Now this one is a 43mm diameter with a 20mm lug width, 13.1mm thickness, sapphire crystal, an automatic Seiko NH35, and it also has 100 meters of water resistance. Now, on all the other watches, it says that it's anti-magnetic. It doesn't on the description for this one. However, I assume that it's going to be the same. Again, disclaimer, I don't really know if that's the case. So here is the Submariner Homage on my 7.5-inch wrist for your reference. As you can see, the 43mm make this quite a chunky affair on wrist. You can see the 20mm tapers down. You've got a good impression of a Rolex clasp on there, and one of the other big differences on this is that you've got brushed middle and end links on this one, which does set it apart from the others. Next up we have the GMT Homage, and I bought this one with the Batman bezel, so the black on the top and the blue on the bottom. Now this one's a slight smaller, it's 40mm diameter, again 20mm lug width, 14mm thickness, sapphire crystal, an automatic Seiko NH35 movement again, anti-magnetic, and 100 meters of water resistance. So over to the GMT's turn to shine, and as you can see, this one is slightly smaller. It's got the 40mm lug width. Again, it's got the same sort of Batman bezel on there. It does come in different colours, so don't worry about that. You've got your 20mm lugs going down. You've got a brushed outer, polished middle inner, goes all the way down to the clasp, which again follows the same pattern all the way back to the top. And finally, to end off this list, we have the Daytona Homage. This one again is a 40mm diameter, 20mm lug width, 12mm thickness, so a little bit thinner than the rest of them, anti-magnetic, sapphire crystal, and one of the reasons that it's thinner is because it's got a quartz mecha movement. It's a Seiko VK63. And finally, to round it all off, we have 100 meters of water resistance. So again, you've got the 40mm lug width again, same measurements in terms of your lug width, the diameter is 40mm, brushed outer, polished middle, all the way down, again, same clasp as well, good clasp on this watch too. And yeah, this one is a little bit thinner and wears a bit lighter on the wrist, just owing to that quartz Seiko VK63 movement. Now let's have a little bit of a whine and look at the watches from a downside. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the Subby Homage. So first of all, 43mm, for me, a little bit too big. It doesn't wear that nicely on the wrist because of it. It takes up a lot of the wrist and it's a little bit over the top. 43mm is very much at my maximum end. The other point on this as well, and I'll see if I can do this on camera for you, is the clasp. Now this may just be a QC issue on this one that I have. It could be on the others too, but the clasp on here, it doesn't quite engage properly and it's incredibly difficult to take off. So if I see if I can show you on there, you see that? See, it doesn't quite line up properly when it clasps in. So that's my niggle with the Pagani Design on the Subby side. Again, it could just be a QC issue with me, not another issue that I've found. Another issue that I found with these watches is the bezel movement on the Subby as well. So just have a listen to it as it comes through. There you go. A little bit of back play there as well. So, I mean, it's okay. It's not brilliant, but then again, what do you expect to get for the money? Moving on to the Pagani Design, the GMT version. First of all, I'm going to show you the bezel action on this one because it is a little different from that of the Subby. In fact, I quite like this one because it sounds much more substantial. And this one has virtually no back play in it as well, which is very nice to see. But my moans and niggles with this one, the clasp on this is fine. I've not had any problems with the clasp. I think my only niggles really is that there's too much writing on the face of it. I would probably have done with taking off the Explorer under the Pagani Design, which you can't see at the minute because the hour hand is just over it. But otherwise, that's my only niggle with that one. And then moving on to the Daytona, the only issue I have with the Daytona, the clasp is fine, the back's fine. Obviously, it's a quartz movement, so it's very accurate, and the sweeping second hand, because it's a mecha quartz, makes it look more like an automatic than than other quartz watches that you'd find. But for me, the main problem that I have with this watch is that the second hand keeps stopping, and I have to keep initiating it again. It still keeps time well, still looks good, still keeps time well. It's just that's a little bit of a pain in the arse, although at the minute I've got it running again. Now, it is without doubt that all of these watches offer incredible value for money. In fact, you can pick them up each for under $100 on AliExpress. Now, that is an absolute bargain. But how do they compare on wrist? Well, I'll have a look at it now for you. So, Pagani Design, what's not to love? Exceptional value for money and of course great designs. After all, they are, or at least seem to be, running through the Rolex's greatest hits. Well, for me at least, my favourite design has to be the GMT. For me, not only are the specs fantastic, just like the rest of the watches, but it looks gorgeous on wrist as well. Probably the best wearing of all of the watches on display, and it's just down to the proportions. But what do you think? Do you agree with my choice? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I usually do at least one video a week, so we'll get some more comparison videos coming up. Links to all these watches, as I've mentioned today, are in today's video, are below. They'll also include links to the website as well for you to have a look around for some of the reviews. I'd also like to say that I really enjoy making these videos and sharing my personal perspective on these horological pieces. You know, I think I'm going to do more of these types of videos moving forward, along with my top fives again, just like I've been doing recently about new watches that come in. So stay tuned, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.